I copied Alex Hormozi's entire content strategy and it changed literally everything. So I went from posting into the void, like with 3K followers, to having coaches with 20, 30, and even 50K followers reaching out to me, asking how I did it. And I want to show you exactly what I did so you can do the same thing. But before we get into the strategy, we need to understand why this thing works, right? Because if you don't get the why, you'll apply the tactics and get nothing. So the problem we're facing right now is there is too much competition and there is a lack of trust. It's a trust recession and everybody is selling the same program, the same promise, the same transformation, and people are extremely skeptical. This is a graph that shows people, that shows person to person trust over the last 30 years. And as you can see it is at an all-time low. And what this means for you is that your prospects are sophisticated. It takes a lot more to get them to transact with you. And it's not because they don't have any money, but it's because there is so much noise and so much of it sounds identical. Hormozi built a content machine that is one of one. It's impossible to confuse with anyone else. It lets him dominate a saturated market. And so I saw it, I took it, and I studied it, and then I applied it. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and everything. How he gets attention, how he builds trust, and how the content closes sales without him ever having to pitch people. So I saw that Hormozi posts 1 to 2 times a day on Instagram and 3 to 4 times a week on YouTube. And you can see from this posting frequency that YouTube is the main driver. And that makes sense because his market is sophisticated. They're not on Instagram to learn, they're on YouTube specifically trying to solve problems. So if you're selling to coaches, consultants, or anyone who pays premium prices, YouTube is where they are. They want depth, they want real solution. They want to actually understand something, actually understand their market and how to convert people. So Instagram Reels get attention, but YouTube builds conviction. And he has 4 types of content. Proof, education, belief, and identity. So the proof is pretty straightforward. It's client wins, testimonials, screenshots, and stuff like that. The end result that you're selling shown clearly. And the reason you're watching me right now is that I told you I went from being ignored to attracting coaches with 50K followers. If I'd opened with here are 5 content tips, you'd have clicked off. Then education is actual how to content, showing your expertise, teaching something real. The third one is beliefs, and this is the one everyone misses. Your audience has beliefs right now that are stopping them from working with you. Your job is to break those beliefs and replace them deliberately. So for my audience, the belief I need to break is I just need better tactics. The truth is, the problem is the foundation, not the tactics. So every piece of content that I make is slowly breaking that belief. The fourth one is identity. Stories that show you that show who you are and why you're different, enhancing that relatability factor. Because people buy from people, and people don't buy coaching; they buy coaches. The reason someone chooses you over the 10 other coaches saying the same things is because of who you are, of what you stand for, what you've been through. So when you can speak to a person who used to be where you are, you resonate in a way no tactic can replicate. And this is the middle funnel. And this is where everything changes. And this is what you actually click for. The middle of funnel is what puts Hormozi in a category of one. And once I understood this, everything I was doing with my content literally changed overnight. And here's the key idea. Hormozi gives away his best information for free. He doesn't put his thinking behind paywalls. He doesn't hold back his best stuff for clients. He charges for implementation, not information. And you've heard that code, and you would have heard that code plenty of times that you should share the information and sell the implementation. So his books are free on Kindle. His YouTube has everything. Every framework he ever used to build $200 million businesses, it's all out there. So most coaches think the opposite. My best stuff is for my clients. I can't just give that away for free. So I used to think that too, brother. And it is the worst mistake that you can make. When you give away your best thinking, people judge you on the quality of what you give for free. The better your free content, the more they believe your paid program will be even better. The free content raises the perceived value of everything you sell. But more importantly, it does something else. It puts people in a value debt. It puts people in something I call a value debt. Think about it. If I gave you my actual frameworks, my actual thinking, and all my methods for free, and then my team reaches out to you, you're going to actually respond. Because the least you can do is reply. You feel a pull. You feel like you owe me something. Not because I manipulated you, but because I genuinely helped you first. So the easiest way to sign clients without trying hard is to give so much value that people feel like they need to give something back. And here's what Hormozi's buyer journey actually looks like. So they start at zero. So they start at zero. They consume his free content. That content alone takes them to $3 million. He stops covering it all for free. And it's really because that content gets no views. So when you want to go past that $3 million stall, there's only one place to go. His paid stuff. So he doesn't make money on the front end. He makes money on the back end after his free content has already done the work. So now here's how this maps to your actual content as a business coach or consultant. Your ideal client is stuck. They're posting consistently. They're getting okay numbers, but the pipeline is soft. The content isn't converting. The content isn't converting. They're hitting a ceiling they can't explain. And you know exactly what. You've been there. You solved it. Give them the diagnosis for free. Give them all the frameworks for free. Give them the thinking that breaks the problem open. And when they've consumed 10 videos, and when they've consumed 10 videos of yours, and every one of them has shifted something in how they see their own content, and then you mention your program. They're not a cold lead. They're just pre-sold. The content did the selling. So you just gave them a door to walk through. So once the middle of funnel is working, the bottom is pretty easy. They're not taking sales calls with skeptical leads. They're talking to people who've already decided that they want to work with you, and they just want to understand what it looks like for them. So my close rate on my program calls is pretty high because I don't need to sell. I just need to listen, confirm, fit, and explain what we do. The content already handled the rest. And this is the exact reason when someone books in who's consumed your content property, it's a value trust bank you're building through your long form content. So when they already know what your framework is, and they've already started thinking differently about their problem because you have influenced them, so they already believe you. They already believe you know things that they don't. They're all checking this. Is this the right time? Is this the right investment? Is this the right fit? And that's a 20-minute call, not a 90-minute pitch. All my calls are onboarding calls. I don't do any sales call. And when people get the results inside the program, it's because they come in already believing in the approach. The word of mouth starts. They refer people who come in with the same level of conviction. And those referrals close just as fast. So this is the flywheel. You give away all the free content, all your thinking patterns, frameworks, and your beliefs for free. You get inbound leads, by which you get easy sales, by which you get results because through your god level delivery, and by results you get word of mouth. So more free content that hits harder because you have proof. It's a flywheel of trust. You're building a trust ecosystem that compounds over time. Leverage is the name of the game, gentlemen. And the thing that makes this work for you specifically is, and here's the part I haven't said yet, all of this only works for you if your free content is actually yours. Books don't win in today's age. Ideas do. And Hormozi's content work because it comes from his specific experience building and scaling real businesses. It's not recycled, it's not borrowed, it's what he actually knows from actually doing it. And if your content is a clean version of what you learned from the same three coaches your audience already follows, it doesn't matter how generously you give it away for free because original ideas seed influence to the masses, and the masses starts to trust the person who has the most influence over them, and who has the most influence over them ends up selling the most. And people have seen it. They can feel it's not original. The value that never forms. And the coaches who are winning right now, they're not getting views, they're actually converting. They all have one thing in common. You can confuse them for anyone else. Hormozi is an industry leader because of this. And this is the whole game. Your specific experience, your specific belief, the exact thing you know about why coaches plateau, that comes from your story, not from a framework you copied. That's what makes that content stick, and that's what builds real trust over time in a market that doesn't trust anybody. And you are aware that we are in a trust recession. Giving away your actual thinking is you actually investing in your business, big time. Because it's not that the Hormozi versions of not the version of Hormozi's thinking with your name on it, but yours. So if this is what's been missing, that's exactly what my program is built for. It's 6 weeks. We find the specific thinking that is actually yours. We build your content and your positioning from the foundation. And your market stops seeing you as one of the options and starts seeing you as an industry leader in your unique market. You as the only one. Founding rate is 349. That closes when the cohort fills. 10 caps, 10 sports caps. The link is in the description. Just DM me the word foundation and I'll send you everything.